to this government.
DP has been very clear. We think the F-35 purchase should be canceled.
The question you have to ask yourself is that aircraft over.
No one expected Canada's fighter jet renewal plan to become the center of a national storm, but the numbers began shifting faster than anyone predicted. The aircraft that was once presented as a stable, long-term solution has turned into one of the country's most unpredictable financial commitments. What was supposed to bring clarity has instead opened a chapter filled with uncertainty, rising costs, and uncomfortable comparisons from abroad. Before we continue, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you can stay updated as this story develops. Canada originally believed it was buying reliability, a locked-in price, a modern capability boost, and a clear path forward. But what began as a roughly $19 billion plan has surged far beyond initial expectations. By mid-decade, updated projections placed the total near $28 billion, and detailed assessments warned the figure may not settle there. Once the cost of weapons, long-term support, and mandatory base upgrades entered the picture, the overall commitment transformed into something far larger and far more complicated than first advertised. The alarming part is not only the numbers themselves, it's the instability behind them. Many of the support requirements were never factored into Canada's early calculations. Expanding hangars, reinforcing runways, integrating new security networks, and upgrading power systems were treated as secondary items. But without them, the aircraft simply cannot operate. As those hidden pieces surfaced, planners realized the full system would drain budgets for decades. And then came a warning shot from Europe. Switzerland, a country known for meticulous planning and strict financial discipline, walked straight into a similar trap. Its purchase, signed under the reassurance of a fixed price, began shifting as the United States adjusted program costs. Within a short period, Switzerland faced hundreds of millions in unexpected additions. What had been sold as a predictable contract rapidly evolved into a political crisis, raising public anger and accusations of poor transparency. The Swiss case sent a tremor through other buyer nations. If a country famous for precision budgeting could see its contract widen beyond expectations, what did that mean for everyone else? Analysts began comparing Switzerland's experience with Canada's projections, and the parallels were too close for comfort. Both countries relied on optimistic early models. Both expected long-term stability, and both discovered how vulnerable they were to updated program figures controlled entirely outside their borders. This triggered a shift in Ottawa's thinking. Canada began re-examining its dependency on a single supplier, realizing that too many critical decisions, from upgrade schedules to software access, lay beyond national control. The government quietly launched studies on alternative options, not only to evaluate other aircraft, but to assess whether future production or partial assembly could be brought onto Canadian soil to build real long-term independence. The most striking comparison came from looking at platforms designed around affordability rather than complexity. Some jets, built for remote environments and rough field flexibility, offered significantly lower long-term costs. They could operate from shorter runways, required smaller support crews, and delivered higher availability rates, something essential for a country as geographically vast as Canada. Projections showed that the total lifetime cost of these aircraft could be dramatically lower, while also giving Canada far more control over maintenance and upgrades. For economists, the issue quickly extended beyond defense. A purchase of this magnitude shapes industrial strategy for generations. The question shifted from which aircraft performs best in combat to which choice strengthens the national economy for decades. Some manufacturers proposed assembling aircraft within Canada, transferring technology, and building a domestic aerospace ecosystem instead of exporting billions to foreign suppliers. This reframed the debate entirely. Instead of remaining a customer in a foreign system, Canada could position itself as a partner with its own manufacturing base, its own upgrade pipeline, and its own long-term engineering workforce. Such a model wouldn't just equip the Air Force, it would shape economic resilience for 30 years or more. As discussions continued, analysts began to highlight how transformative such a shift could be for the country. A domestic production line means thousands of high-skilled jobs, new research centers, and a national ecosystem capable of sustaining future aerospace programs. Universities, suppliers, and tech companies would all benefit from a homegrown supply chain, rather than relying on a single foreign source for every major component. Instead of simply purchasing equipment, Canada would be investing in national capability, something that lasts well beyond any individual aircraft. But this opportunity also introduces new layers of complexity. Operating more than one fighter type requires parallel training pipelines, separate logistics networks, and expanded maintenance facilities. The military would need additional technicians, new simulators, and long-term planning that spans multiple platforms. These demands raise valid concerns about cost, readiness, and efficiency. A mixed fleet can offer flexibility, but it can also stretch personnel and budgets, if not managed with precision. Supporters of industrial independence argue that these challenges are manageable and worth the price. They point out that many advanced nations successfully operate multiple aircraft types because the strategic benefits outweigh the logistical burden. A diversified fleet reduces vulnerability, ensures competition in procurement, and prevents a country from becoming fully dependent on foreign suppliers for every upgrade, software patch, or replacement part. With global tensions rising and supply chains becoming more fragile, long-term autonomy may offer more security than having the most advanced jet alone. However, others believe that a unified fleet remains the only sensible option. They argue that the simplicity of operating a single aircraft type ensures faster deployment, lower training costs, and streamlined maintenance. In high-pressure scenarios, consistency can be a strategic advantage. For those who prioritize pure combat efficiency, introducing another fighter, even one that brings economic benefits, risks creating unnecessary complications. This disagreement creates a defining question for Canadian strategy. The nation must decide whether the strength of its future lies in deep integration with a foreign system or in the creation of domestic capabilities that allow it to shape its own path. The debate is no longer only about performance or price. It is about sovereignty, resilience, and the type of aerospace future Canada wants to build. The Swiss alarm amplified the urgency. Switzerland's unexpected cost increases served as a vivid reminder that even the most confident procurement promises can unravel when key technologies and price controls lie outside a nation's hands. If a country renowned for its cautious planning and precise budgeting faced such turbulence, the implications for Canada are unmistakable. These events highlight a simple but critical truth. In defense programs of this scale, certainty is an illusion unless the buyer holds meaningful control. Without that control, timelines stretch, costs shift, and strategic decisions become dependent on the priorities of another nation's government or industry. Canada must now confront whether it is willing to accept that vulnerability for the sake of maintaining a single streamlined fleet. As the nation weighs its options, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The choice ahead is not just about jets. It is about identity. Canada must decide whether it wants a future shaped by external pressures or a future grounded in its own industrial capacity, technological independence, and strategic flexibility. The Swiss alarm has made one thing undeniable. Guaranteed prices in international defense programs are only as stable as the system behind them. When the buyer does not control that system, the promise of certainty becomes fragile. Canada now stands at a point where it must decide what kind of future it wants. One shaped by external decisions, or one built through domestic capability and long-term independence. Thanks for watching. If you want more global defense insights and deep dive reports like this one, don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss what comes next.